This is the inside of the Auto-Sleeper Warwick XL MQ. If I firstly move to the main control panel, I can turn the 12 volt on just here. You'll see along the top that we have the external temperature. We have this little sun appearing every now and then whenever the solar panel is active. We have this lightning strike just here, just indicating that we're currently connected to mains electricity. Humidity displayed there, and then the internal temperature just there. Time, Auto-Sleeper logo, and then the day and date at the bottom. In this top corner here we have the main isolator for all of the onboard lights, and then they can all be individually turned on and off on their own switches. Awning light on and off just here, and it will also do this entrance light just here. And then we have water pump on and off just here. We need the water pump on so we can get water out of the taps, flush the toilet and fill the boiler if it's been drained down. Water levels just here, so how much water is in the fresh tank and how much water is in the waste tank. And then power levels just here. So we have condition of leisure battery, condition of vehicle battery, whichever active battery you've got running the back end of the van's current, the mains current, and then what the solar panel is doing on the roof. And if I just press either of these, we can also cycle instead of just pressing either one. Battery selection just here. So currently we're using the leisure battery. If I now press it, we're now using the vehicle battery. And now this is the battery that is being charged from the main supply. And if I press back, the leisure battery is again now being charged from the main supply. Menu just here. So we have power settings. So currently all charging is set in smart mode, which is the easiest mode to have it in. Automatic tank fill just here. This needs to be active if you're going to be using the whale filler on the outside of the van. And then we have both waste and fresh tank heaters just here. So if they're now in blue like they are at the moment, they will come on if there's water in the tanks and the temperature is low enough outside. Lights that come on when you turn the main power on. So at the moment the internal lights will come on, but the awning light will not, and it is just literally down to personal preference. Key beeps on and off. Water level alarm is on for both fresh and waste. Set your backlight brightness of the screen and how quickly it times out when you're not using it. Set your time and your date. And then back to the beginning again. Beside this control panel, we then have the whale control panel for the heating and hot water. So we have hot water at the top here. If I begin to press the button, you'll see a series of icons appear, and then it will basically end up back at off. So the first icon we have here is a little picture of a snowflake, and this is the boiler's frost protection mode. So if you don't necessarily want to be heating hot water, you can just pop it onto this and it will just keep a residual amount of heat in the boiler to avoid frost damage. Wavy lines represent main supply, and I class this as about 1 kilowatt. Then we have main supply at 2 kilowatts. If we don't have main supply, we can run on gas with a little picture of the flame. And if we have both power sources available to us, we can run in dual fuel. So a mixture of gas and mains at 1 kilowatt and a mixture of gas and mains at 2. Dual fuel is very handy, especially in the winter months if you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly. If this van currently wasn't connected up to main supply, I would not be able to select mains on here. It just would not come up on the screen. Heating works virtually the same, so you'll see Goes through all the icons until it eventually ends up back at off. And we have a single wavy line again, which is main supply, but this time at about 500 watts. Two wavy lines, main supply at about 1 kilowatt, and three wavy lines, main supply at about 2 kilowatts. So all these electrical settings are just handy depending on the ampage of the site you're on to try and avoid tripping. Again, we then have gas on its own, and then we have a mixture of mains and gas. Temperature control just here. WOW recommends dropping all the way down to the little picture of the moon if you need your heating on whilst you're asleep. It will maintain a temperature of about 16 degrees, which is comfortable. Whenever the units are consuming gas, you'll get little flames. As you'll see, the boiler's already lit. Once the heating is lit on gas, we'll get a flame just here as well. And if there's a problem with either the water heater or the heating, we will get red exclamation marks appear. So let's say we've got a red exclamation mark appear for the water heater. All we do is we just hold down the button just here and we'll get a series of red lights, and then within the manual it will tell you what the problem is. If it's something that's easily rectifiable, you will then just need to reset the control panel, and the way you do this for the water heater is hold the water heater button down and press the plus at the same time. And if it's an issue with the heating, same again, just hold the heating button down, series of red lights, and it will then let you know what the problem is. And again, if it's something easily rectifiable, just hold and press. If I now move to the back of the van and I just remove the cushions off the bench seat just here, and I now lift up this section just here, you'll see we have storage beneath, and then tucked right at the very back just here is the whale boiler itself. You can see the gas isolation tap for it just there. Wherever there's usually a gas appliance, you will usually find a gas tap quite close to it. It's in the on position, and quite frankly it can stay like that. I always say if you do smell gas in the van, go to the source. So basically go underneath the van and isolate it at the gas tank. To drain the boiler down for winterization, it's just done at this point here. So before doing this, make sure that the water pump has been turned off. And then once you've done that, turn the lever and it will then begin draining the water out of the boiler. If it is a full winterization that you are doing, I always suggest that you then also go around the van and open up all of the taps, because this will help release any airlocks in the system and make it drain down far more efficiently. When it comes to refilling the boiler, make sure the taps are closed. Make sure that the drain valve is back in the closed position. Fill up the fresh water tank. Turn on the water pump again. And then let the pump run for a few minutes as it refills the boiler. And then begin opening up the taps. They'll cough and splutter as they force the air out. Once the water is running freely, reclose, and then the system will fully reprime itself. Also underneath here we have just here the location of the leisure battery. We then also have just on the wall just there the battery charger itself. Tucked away at the back there is the solenoid for the whale filler on the outside. And then we also have the pressure switch for the water pump just there. So if you are finding that you're getting a lot of pump overrun when you are turning a tap off, you can just slightly adjust the pressure switch just by turning it. Only very fine little movements, otherwise you will throw it completely out of sync. Underneath the opposite bench seat is literally just storage. And then if I just come down to this flap down just here, we have the location of the consumer unit for the van. So just here we have the trips. So we've got the 3 individual MCBs, the main RCD and the test button just there. So if anything is not working on main supply, just check to see if you've tripped at this location here. Next we have the 12 volt fuses just here. So if anything is not working on 12 volt, just check to see if you've blown a fuse. Nice and easy to see if a fuse has blown because a red light will appear underneath it. Tucked up here we have isolator buttons for components that use mains electricity. So we have this amber one just here for the whale heating and hot water. So if this is just turned off, you will not be able to use the control panel for main supply. Again, more for maintenance, so it's best just left alone. We then have the green one just there, which is for the battery charger. Again, if that's turned off, you will not be able to charge both vehicle or leisure batteries whilst connected to mains electricity. This will illuminate just here if you have reverse polarity connected to the van. This can sometimes be found on some continental sites. And then tucked over this side just here, we have full system shutdown. So if you're not using the van for long periods of time, you can press this button here to kill any residual draw on the leisure battery. In the overhead locker just here is the Huawei mobile Wi-Fi unit. You can either pop in a SIM card of your own or just use the one that's already supplied in it. You just need to literally search for Wi-Fi, connect up to it, put in the key number, pay the subscription. We then have the hob, so we've got 3 gas rings, and it's just a matter of pushing in, twisting round for the oven on this one here, and then we have the 3 gas rings. Above is the extractor, 2 fan speeds, and then lights on and off just here. Thetford fridge freezer just here, on and off on this square here. This is an automatic model. So as long as you are on A for auto, it will find the best power source it can for you. So because we're currently connected to mains electricity, it's put us onto mains with the little picture of the 2-pin plug just here. If I was to now run outside and pull the mains lead out, it would then automatically attempt to fire itself up onto gas. And then as soon as we start the engine of the van, it will then automatically switch over to 12 volt maintain to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. As you can see, the screen will disappear after a few seconds, but we can see the unit is still on by the little blue light just here. And if I just tap it, it will re-illuminate. You can take it out of auto if you want to. So I can manually put it onto mains. I can manually put it onto 12 volt maintain. At the moment, we're going to get an error code just here, and this is going to flash red because the engine's currently not running. And I can manually put it onto gas. Temperature control just here. Microwave just here. This particular microwave does not require a plate. It's isolated just up here and will only work when the van is connected to mains electricity. We then have power settings at the top, etc. Right the way down to literally quick start and stop just here. Truma air conditioning unit just here. The remote control looks like this. Again, this will work when the van's connected to mains supply, and it's on and off on the main blue button. And then we have mode just here. So we have cooling with a little picture of the snowflake, plus and minus just here to pick the temperature. We then have heat. We have just auto, so just literally just pick whatever temperature you require and it will maintain it. And then we have air recirculation just there. Fan speed just here. And then if I slide down, we then also have timer set, etc. We also have a night mode just here, so it will quieten everything down. We then also have lights. And then back off again. In the wardrobe you will find the small table and the pole, which drops just in the hole just there. And then also in here you will find we have the digital amplifier for the television aerial on the roof, on and off just here, and control the speed just here. The television is 12 volts, so it will work even when the van is not connected to mains electricity, and it also has a DVD player in this side just here. As you change location, the television will need to be retuned in, otherwise it just behaves like any other TV. So just literally power on. And then to retune it in, you literally just need to go to the menu just here, and then just scroll down to channel, arrow across, find auto search, which is just there, press OK. You just want to do digital channels, OK. And then it will then retune itself back in again. Moving back down the front, we have the washroom. So we have the shower cubicle just here. Do make sure that the shower screen is secure for travel. And then we have the Thetford cassette toilet. So the bowl does swivel all around. Open to the cassette just here. And then push to flush just on the top just here. And then re-close again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you do feel resistance, just make sure that nobody's left it open. Level indicator for the cassette just here, so this will rotate round to red to indicate when the cassette is full. There are a few more 12 volt fuses just in the floor just down here behind the driver's seat. These are mainly for components on the outside of the van, so if anything's not working, just check to see if a 12 volt fuse is blown at this point here. With this model you can either have 2 single beds or a large double, and with the double it's just a matter of lifting slightly up and then sliding the sections so they both meet in the middle, and then once you've done this, just dropping the cushions into place. Front seat rotates round and just rotates around on the red lever just there. The driver's seat does not rotate round, as it is not worth doing, because obviously you've got the washroom sitting just behind it. The seats are also movable underneath, and then we have lumbar support just here, and then backrest adjust just here. Canopy winding handle just here. Smoke alarm just here, just press the button from time to time just to make sure that it is working. The carbon monoxide alarm is located at the rear, just up here. And with these touch lights, all you need to do is just touch the centre for on and off.